Ladies and gentlemen, multiple-time Super Bowl champion, Coach B.A.
Yay!
How you doing?
What's up, boys?
Hey, great to see you. We missed you in here this morning, obviously, and your vibes and energy drinks are certainly something that we are going to miss for the rest of the way, but we appreciate you joining us here. What I was just saying there about Fernando, how real is that, you think? Being able to hang out with the boys, have a couple beers, alongside being 6'5", 230, and able to break down a defense. What are your thoughts on this Fernando Mendoza kind of sensation and him at the next level, Mr. Quarterback Whisperer?
Yeah, I think he's got all the traits, man, and drinking beer is one of them, especially with the offensive line. Every quarterback's got to take care of his offensive lineman and maybe a top receiver or two. But he's got all the measurables. The guy can spin it. He's athletic. Reminds me a lot of Drake May coming out. Same height, speed. But, yeah, he can place the ball anywhere he wants to put it.
What's the difference between the NFL and college for these quarterbacks? Now, there had been a conversation that all these second chapter quarterbacks that are around the league, we've seen them. Yep. Darnold, Baker, Kirk. You just go around all these second chance quarterbacks almost that have had an uptick in success. A lot of people started saying, well, they've seen the defenses. They understand what the defenses are, so they're able to make decisions. These younger quarterbacks, with the way ball is in high school and college, kind of slowed down the development of the football IQ maybe. Is that an accurate depiction of what is happening at the quarterback position in your eyes? And do you think Fernando, Dante, any of these guys are maybe getting back to understanding what's happening on the defensive side?
Yeah, I think the volume of defense that young quarterbacks see is just so huge. You know, they might see 4 coverages in college and maybe 5 blitzes versus 8 or 9 different variations of coverage and 20 different blitzes in a game. Mendoza looks like he can handle the pressure extremely well. He seems very bright. Haven't sat down with him. I'd love to sit down with him, put him on the board and get to know him a little better. But he just looks like he's got the cerebral part down pat.
How many young quarterbacks should we see having success in the future? Because it has been a little bit of a run here of these younger guys starting to really break out. And you look at this playoffs, not a lot of playoff wins from a lot of these quarterbacks. It almost feels like we're completely in the dawning of a new era of the QB. Do you agree with that? And how do you feel about these young guys heading into their biggest games that they've ever played?
Yeah, I think for sure the NFL's in great position right now with a bunch of good young quarterbacks and a couple more that are going to come in next year. But, yeah, I think with the playoffs, advantage to the guys who've been there and done it, you know, to Josh Allen's, Aaron Rodgers. But the rest of those guys, I mean, there's some talented young people out there that can really play. Trevor Lawrence is playing at a super high level. Caleb Williams is playing at a high level. Brock Purdy. I mean, you know, Jalen Hurts is MVP in Super Bowl last year. So, I mean, the league has got a number of great quarterbacks. And we're not even talking about Mahomes and the guys that are missing. You know, Justin Herbert's in there. So, I think it's going to be a whale of a playoff series.
Most important time of the year, most important position in the game. Feels like we got studs everywhere, and the defenses are about to make it tough for them. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, BA, when you're evaluating these quarterbacks coming out of college, I guess what was your formula, or how did you do it? Did that change over the course of your time in the NFL, and how you tried to, I guess, predict success in the NFL for these guys?
Yeah, for me, you know, I didn't like comparing people, but I love comparing measurables and who a guy might remind me of. You know, when I did it for like 20 years, and, you know, I'd love to sit down with them individually and get them on the board, talk to them about hots, blitzes. Tell me about your offense. Now, if a guy can put his up and explain to him what he's going to do versus cover 2, what do you do versus this blitz, I want to hear how you handle it. Then we're going to put our offense up on the board and talk to them about it. And then out in the middle of the workout, I might walk up and say, okay, it's man protection. Here comes the weak safety. How you going to handle it? And the best 2 I've ever seen were Andrew Luck and Patrick Mahomes. Peyton was great too, but Andrew Luck, I tried to fool him. He said, no, that's exactly what you said. You're right. That's exactly what I said. Mahomes just spit him out. I was slide protection. Here comes a strong safety. Fix it. He's throwing the ball. He makes the right call. I mean, in a 15-minute meeting, these guys had it down. It may take some guys 2 or 3 years. Some never get it.
Okay, so my question is then how do we miss on guys? If that is possible in 15 minutes, being able to find that out. Why do you think there's so many misses at the quarterback position, which there has been? Now, granted, as of late, feels like there's more hitting. Feels like there's a little bit more hitting as of late. But there was a run there where we had no idea if the quarterback was going to be good or not. How did people miss, and why did people miss, you think?
I found sometimes it's system fit. and a really shitty team. I mean, if you're getting picked in the top 5, you're going to a really shitty team most of the time. You're not lucky. Like Ben Roethlisberger was pissed. He dropped down to 11th, but he got on the Pittsburgh Steelers with the best defense in the world. He wins 15 games as a rookie. That showed young quarterbacks, I don't have to go in the top 5. That money is not necessarily going to come on this contract. It's going to come on the next one. And but you get in those teams, and if you don't have an offensive line, so many times, like you pick this quarterback. I'm looking at the Raiders right now, and to pick a quarterback to fix them right now, I think would be a bad mistake. You got a hell of a lot of other things to fix. Well, one quarterback ain't fixing all that shit. And you better get an offensive line in front of this kid. You got a great running back. Get an offensive line. If you can slide down a couple spots and maybe get one that you really, really like a little bit later in the top 5 or 6 picks.
I think Mendoza's generational. You're the quarter whisperer, so free agency, you can flip an offensive line too. We saw Chicago Bears do that. They traded for Tooney, which was a massive move, pay 2 other guys to shore up kind of the middle. Ben Johnson says, we need an offensive line. I love Caleb, but we need to do this because our run game's going to be whatever. It's going to be able to protect Caleb, and that's worked very quick.
Yeah.
I mean, the offensive line is like literally the key, it feels like, to whether or not you're going to be ass. BA, that feels like that's the biggest deal.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, who's available, and you have to have a trade partner. What are you giving up to get those guys? And the Bears did a great job. They solidified that inside interior part of that offensive line, which they needed to, and that's put them in the playoffs. Because Caleb is now not running for his life all the time. He's just running to run and make plays. And he's very comfortable in the pocket because he's got a pocket. These other cats, I think back of David Carr and Tim Couch. In their first 2 years, they were sacked 140 times. I mean, Timmy Couch, he was all broken up by the time I got him. Hell of a player. Was never a bust. Was a great player. He was just torn all to pieces by the time I got him. His arm was about to fall off, and as tough as nails. But to get to some of these teams, if I'm a quarterback, I say, I ain't coming. I pull an Eli. So I ain't coming.
Eli, John Elway, it has happened a couple different times, and obviously what happens around you is certainly very important to how you have success at the quarterback position in football. There's 11 people on the field for a reason, but boy, these quarterbacks take all the blame. Mm-hmm. And then they get all the credit as well.
That's right.
And a lot of the money.
Yep.
And a lot of the money. Okay, let's talk about Ben Johnson. We talk about him being able to shore up the offensive line. Whenever he took over the job, everybody thought he was going to be great. This is the belle of the ball. He's turned out to do just that. This is his first time in a big stage, though. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Absolutely. So, Caleb, Ben, obviously it starts with him. You talk about quarterbacks getting the shit beat out of him. Caleb went from taking 68 sacks last year to only 24 this year. But what changes on the playoff stage? I know we all, as players, everything just got faster for whatever reason. You go from preseason speed to regular season speed to postseason speed. From a coaching standpoint, what changes once you get to the playoff stage, especially with a young quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's a level of preparation. Everybody's fired up. Everybody's intense. For the Bears, they're going to play somebody for the 3rd time. That's hard. And but they know each other. Just get healthy, get ready, get a game plan. Ben's always got surprises for people. But they didn't just fix an offensive line. They got Swift, and they got Rome Mendoza and Luther Burden. They got weapons, young tight ends, because Ben's a 12 personnel guy. They got 2 tight ends that can really play. I love the Bears' offense when those kids are all healthy on the outside.
I appreciate the fact that Chicago Bears culture was flipped so quickly. They're not the only ones, man. New England seemingly was able to get back to where they wanted to be. And then if you think about Carolina Panthers are hosting a damn playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on around being able. Jolene Cohen, he was hired late. Mate, this guy's not even going to be able to hire a staff. Mm-hmm. This guy, because Bruce Arians ain't going to let him hire anybody out of Tampa Bay. This guy's not going to be able to hire a damn staff. That's how late it was in the process. They hire, a 21-year-old GM in Stoner? They got no shot, and here we go. Now, all of a sudden, the Jacksonville Jaguars are hosting a damn playoff game, which leads greatly into... Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment of the season. It's BS or No BS with BA. We appreciate the hell out of you, BA. Go ahead, con man.
Yeah, Bruce, right now there are 3 home underdogs in the first round of the playoffs, and picking them all to win is the right thing to do. Is that BS or no BS, BA?
I think that's no BS, brother. I mean, when you look at the teams that are on Houston, got great defense, quarterback's playing great. Going to make the road to Pittsburgh. I don't think that's a tough one for him. Buffalo and Jacksonville, that's a tough one for me because Jacksonville is really, really hot. But I'm not betting against Josh Allen because he's been there and done it. And of course, the Rams and the Panthers. The Rams went out there and got embarrassed in Carolina. I don't see that happening again with that defense and Matthew Stafford playing at that level. I think they're all safe picks. The only one that's really questionable is Jacksonville because Liam's got him playing so good.
Okay, so is that supposed to be BS then? It's supposed to be BS?
Yeah,
or
don't take the road dog.
Okay, so the favorites are going to win.
Yeah.
So you like the favorites, BA? Is that what
I like all the favorites. Yeah, I'm going to take all the favorites. Yeah.
Okay, so we got a little bit of a scandal here. So let's go back.
That's BS, baby.
That's
That
BS,
is
baby.
BS, baby.
Yes, BS, baby.
Circle that BS,
That's
baby.
BS, baby. That's what that certainly is right there. Okay, let's get to the next one. Go ahead, Ty Schmidt.
All right, Coach, you just mentioned it a little bit there. Defensive head coaches are all the way back. There will be more defensive head coaches hired this coaching cycle than offensive head coaches. Is that BS or no BS, BA?
I think that's BS too.
Whoa!
I think the defensive coaches are way more qualified, but the hiring cycle the last 4 years has been all offense. I've had 2 calls this morning, people looking at different people, and they're looking for young offensive coaches. And it baffles me because when I think of the defensive guy, Brian Flores and Vance Joseph and Robert Saleh and Steve Spagnuolo, just to mention a few on defense, unbelievable defensive head coach. But the trend, I mean, Kevin Stefanski's going to get a job real fast. I think Matt Nagy's got a shot, and you're going to hear his name, Clint Kubiak. And I would think if somebody's smart, they bring back Mike McCarthy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh,
Hey, we think he does want to get back into the game. You know, I feel like he enjoyed the hell out of his life. First time he's had a fall in, 50 years or whatever it was, the story. He got to hang out with his kids, got to go see volleyball. I loved it. Go duck hunting up there with his dog.
Gus,
Which is an award-winning duck hunting dog in Gus. I think he enjoyed all of that, but he's a football guy through and through. You know, he was excited to get back in there. And I feel like he learned a lot from watching from this perspective as opposed to being in a building. Do you think that's possible with coaches maybe away from the game for a year and you kind of get back in with, I don't want to say a brand new, but a different perspective maybe than you had?
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, I did that with CBS after Arizona. You know, I thought my health was not going to be good, and I got it all fixed up and, decided to get back in. And the one thing I decided I was not going to call plays. I was not going to be the head coach and the offensive coordinator. And probably would not have taken the job if Byron Leftwich wasn't available. And to me, it's still a crime that we're not talking about Byron Leftwich in this head coaching cycle. That's the brightest offensive mind I've ever been around.
I love to hear that. Byron Leftwich obviously could spin it as well. I've never been around him on a day-to-day. Tough. Just what a name, too. Byron Leftwich, synonymous with ball. I appreciate the fact that you away from it, come back and say, I could probably be a better leader as a whole if I'm not calling plays in this entirety. You go to Tampa, win a Super Bowl. That's all she wrote. Let's get to the third BS or no BS with BA. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, BA. Sam Darnold can and will lead the Seattle Seahawks to the Super Bowl. Is that BS or no BS?
I think that's no BS, brother.
Wow, baby.
I think right now Sam's figured it out. He's going to have to put a Superman cape on. They got that running game rolling. Showed up big last week against San Francisco. This may be the facilitator, get the ball out to the right guys, make some big plays with his legs. And, he and JSN, man, that's a dangerous combination. But when they got that running game going with the defense they're playing right now, and then the 12 up there in Seattle, watch out, it's going to be tough.
Home field advantage is wild for Seattle to have. Congratulations to them and McDonald being able to turn it all around. And Darnold spinning it. Biggest game, biggest moment. Sam Darnold's throwing dots. Good for Darnold. Hopefully they're able to get it done there in Seattle. Obviously their fan base worthy of being showcased to the world throughout the entirety of playoffs. Now, there's a couple game balls we need to give out. You know, in actual NFL buildings, the Monday after games, there are game balls given out in the team meeting. The coach comes in, has these game balls ready. He and the equipment manager have worked together. You read off a list of accolades and you throw it. You know, sometimes back in the room, a little bit of a spin, big time catch, the energy, obviously fantastic. We want to do that this season with BA. He's done it every single week. That obviously will not change this week. Go ahead with your game balls, BA. Who should be celebrating a huge end of NFL season?
Yeah, NFC, a lot of guys didn't play last week, but Matthew Stafford, again, put it up, big numbers, 3 touchdowns, had a hell of a ball game, leading them to a big win. And then in the AFC, it was a little bit harder. because he only had one tackle, but Myles Garrett for breaking the sack record. His stat line was one tackle, one sack. That's hard to pay $150 million to a guy for one tackle, but 22 and 23 sacks might get it.
Hell yeah.
A lot of money.
Stop the game.
A lot of money. You know, he said,
right.
as long as upstairs has the same mentality about winning as me, I'm good, I'm happy. You know, because last year, whenever his contract was in discussions, he put out a whole letter. High five to the ref there. It's hilarious, by the way. He put out an entire message about how it's not just about being a good player. I want to win games, man. I would like to win. And seemingly took a shot at Andrew Berry with the way he described getting to Canton and Hall of Fame, almost as if that was a goal for the Browns as opposed to winning football games. Then he gets $40 million a year. That seemingly changes. I'm going to be a part of the change that's going to happen here. Then they go on to not win again. It's like, how long does this last? Is Myles Garrett going to continue to be a pillar and a sensation while they continue to lose like Joe Thomas spent his entire career? Obviously, nobody wants to do that. The Browns are fascinating, B.A. Obviously, you're up there as a coach. It feels like they have been just cursed. Like they are just going to stink. Doesn't it feel like that with Cleveland? I don't like it. I like the people of Cleveland, but it feels like that with the Brownies.
Yeah, they had the great fans, man. I was with the Colts, and we went up there like week 16. It was snowing like crazy. I said, Peyton, you don't have to worry about silent count today. We're in the lock. We came out there's an ass in every seat. It was crazy. We had to kick a field goal on the last play of the game to win, and then going there and coaching for 3 years. They had great fans, man, and they deserve more. It's a shame, but that they can't put the product on the field. It's just been the quarterback issue for years and years. And, why they ever get up on Baker, I don't know.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah. Beat the Steelers in a playoff game.
Pretty big.
Without Stefanski on the sideline. He had COVID.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are who the Cleveland Browns beat in the playoffs. Get this guy, though. Get him out of here. All these commercials. I'm about sick of him doing it, Dougie. Mm-hmm. Let's get him out of here. Now he's down there in Tampa trying to win the NFC South. Got a nice house down there.
He does have a nice house.
He's got a nice house down there. I seen that as a through the Instagram story there of his family as he followed along with that NFC South. You think Tampa's going to be okay?
Yeah, I think so. I think there have been a lot of injuries this year, and some things didn't go right in a couple of different spots. But Todd's going to right the ship, and Jason Light's going to get another great draft, and they'll reload. They don't have to rebuild.
All right, I guess we'll just believe it because you're down there. You're close to the situation. You're the man. Mm-hmm. We appreciate the hell out of you, Coach.
You got it, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Coach B.
Hey, go.